Hey barbecue fans, welcome back to Barton Barbecue Smokeworks. Today we are going to be utilizing some of our competition brisket trim that we've been saving, and we're going to be making some awesome smoked Texas brisket boudin. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this recipe. As I talked about in the intro, we are utilizing our competition brisket trim to make this. I'll typically save 5 or 6 competitions worth of brisket trimmings in the freezer, but you can use any type of beef that you want to use if you want to purchase a brisket. As always, buy the best meat you can. We're utilizing prime today. So we're going to go through with our brisket pieces and hit them with a 50-50 mix of kosher salt and black pepper on each side. Once we got them all seasoned up, we're going to throw them on the smoker for a nice smoke bath. Disregard the pork butt on the left side of the bottom tray. That was just for eating later on. We're using strictly beef brisket in this boudin, and starting out with 10 pounds of raw weight. Today we're utilizing Texas post oak from Gourmet Wood Products. Many of you know this is the only wood I use. It's kiln dried, it's consistent moisture content, and imparts great flavor in anything you cook on it. So we're cooking our brisket pieces much like you would a regular brisket. Once we get a nice color on the meat that we're happy with, we're going to take it, wrap it in a foil pan with some warm au jus, foil it up, put it back on the pit, and get it tender. Alright, when you're making boudin, you know you got to have liver in it. So we're utilizing chicken livers in lieu of pork livers today. I think it has a milder flavor, but it does still give you a little bit of that liver flavor on the back end that I think is important to have in boudin. Once we've got these spread out on the wire rack, we're going to go ahead and throw them on the smoker and let them get a little smoke bath as well. Now that we've got all our meat on, we're going to go inside and concentrate on the vegetables. We're going to start out with a couple cups of chicken broth, and then we're going to dump the veggies in and bring this up and steam them until they're nice and translucent and soft. We're pulling our brisket, checking it, making sure it's tender, up to temp. We still want a little bit of texture, so we're not going to take it all the way where we typically do take our brisket, but to where it's tender and will grind well. At the same time, we're also checking the chicken livers. We're going to take those up to 165 so they're nice and done, and get ready to grind all this stuff in the kitchen. We're going to utilize 2 different plates today. The first one's going to be an 1/8" plate for the liver, and then we're going to use a bigger 1/4" plate for the brisket. This will allow us to get the proper texture on both the liver and a little bit more texture on the brisket, since it will be a bigger cut. The fine grind on this liver, almost to a pate consistency, is going to allow us to mix it in really well with the beef. We changed plates and are grinding the brisket now, and I'm going to put it into 2 different pans just for ease of mixing. We're using quite a bit of beef, so we've got a lot of stuff to add to it. We've got rice and vegetables, so it's a lot easier to mix it in 2 pans. We're going to add even amounts of liver into the brisket and start layering each of these items so that we can get it mixed up. After we've got the liver added, we're going to add the cooled rice in even portions to each pan as well. After we've got the rice added, then we're going to add the vegetables split in each pan as well. And I'm just eyeballing this because once it's all mixed up in each pan, we're going to put it in a single big bowl and mix it all together. Whee! Can't forget those fresh green onions. We put all our seasonings in one bowl, and after the fresh green onions, we're going to add approximately half of the seasoning to one pan and half of the seasoning to the other, and again, mix it up. Once you get both pans put into a big bowl, mix it very well so the spices get good and mixed. At this point, you've had your natural casings rinsed and sitting in a bowl of ice water and sorted out individually so we can start the stuffing process. Feed the casing onto the tube, and once you have the stuffer packed, start cranking down on it. Some air will come out at first, and then you'll start to get some sausage mix coming out of the stuffer tube, and you've just got to hold a little bit of pressure on the end and feed it through so you don't get air pockets. It takes a little getting used to the correct pressure on the end of the tube and the speed of the crank and all that good stuff so you don't end up with air pockets and bubbles in there. Start out slow and you'll get it down. You may have noticed in the beginning of when I started stuffing, I sprinkled a little bit of water onto the tabletop. That helps the casing slide without sticking. Once we've got a round stuffed, we're going to start twisting at both ends, and we're going to twist one, and then we'll skip a link, pinch it off, and twist the third link in the opposite direction. While you want your casings nice and full, you can't get them too full, or when you try to pinch in between the links, it'll bust. That's also something that you'll get the feel down for. Once we get all this stuffed, we're going to put it back on the pit at a low temperature at 225 degrees until the casings dry. All the ingredients inside are already cooked, so we just want to cook these and give them a little bit of color and dry the casings. And what you're left with is a beautiful link of Boudin that's got great color, a little bit of smoke to it, great moisture content, and an even better texture. I like to slice mine and put it on a cracker with a couple dashes of Tabasco. You can see the grinder plate really makes a difference in the texture of the meat. Grinding that first and mixing it up, we've got whole grains of rice in there as well as your little chunks of vegetables. It's just a great consistency. All of the quantities and ingredients are listed in the description below, so give this a shot, and when you do, hit me up, leave me a comment, let me know how it went. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.